A very good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever it is that you are catching me from. Coming to you live from Nairobi, Kenya, and very excited to be with you this particular moment. And just to welcome you to Money Live. Money Live is a conversation that will be coming to you every Saturday from 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. East African time. An opportunity for us to be reflecting on conversations of money, for us to just be saying a few things about money. And as you're well aware, conversations of money are conversations that are actually not happening the way they are supposed to be happening. And so we are hoping that this is going to be a segment that will be adding value to your life. This is going to be a segment that that all of us are looking forward to. Right, and so I'm so excited to see all of you that are already here. I can already begin to see your comments beginning to come through. Someone please confirm that you can be able to hear me loud and clear before I can be able to start. Please confirm that you can get me loud and clear. All right, I'm waiting for your confirmation. Use the comment section. Please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you very much, William. You have confirmed that you are able to hear me loud and clear. Thank you, Herbert. Good to see you once again this particular moment. For those of you that will have personalized comments that you may not want everyone to see, feel free to utilize the contacts that will be scrolling on your screen. I'll be able to look at them much later in the conversation. So today we are having a very interesting conversation. I was thinking about where to start in these money conversations because Money Live is going to be a conversation we are going to have every other Saturday from 3 o'clock East African time. If you are new here and you've not yet subscribed, please take a moment and just hit the subscribe button so that you don't get to be left out every time we are going live with this and every time we are uploading videos of other very useful conversations about money and about life in general. Right, so I was thinking about where to begin this conversation from. And one thing stood out, that we needed to start from the basics. We needed to start this conversation from where we need to start from as we build going into the future. And where else is better for us to start from other than speaking to our minds? Because we will behave around money, we will handle money, we will do things around money, largely the way we think about money, largely the way we perceive money, largely the way our thought system has been cultured around money. So the way you behave around money, the way I see you handle money, tells me a lot about how your mind is structured in terms of how you view your money, right? And the way you view money has also been rather informed in a big way by your environment, by your upbringing. So a lot of things have gone into the works, into making who you are today. And that's why sometimes it becomes a little bit difficult to change the way people have been viewing money or have been viewing any other thing in life, especially if they've done so for a very long time. Right. So even as I come to you this particular moment, I know there is a way you've been handling money, and probably you've handled your money for a long period of time in that particular way. And so I know that if transformation has to happen, it's not going to be overnight. Right. And while I'm aware of that, I also know that for any transformation to happen, then the mind has to be aligned first. So we have to start from the mind. And that is why we are having this conversation, this particular moment, the conversation that I'm calling the realities of money, the realities of money, right? Realities of money is a conversation that I created some time back to help us align our minds in the right way of thinking. Because I found out that many of the blunders that I made in the past with regard to the way I related with money were largely caused by the way my mind was structured around money, the way I was thinking around money, right? And later on, I would embark on a journey of beginning to restructure the thoughts that and the beliefs that I had around money. And I know that journey was not a very easy journey, but it is a doable journey. It's a journey that each one of us can begin to embark on, because I've seen the results that that has delivered in my own personal life, right? And so that is why I chose that we begin from this particular point as we lay foundation, and then we will be building from here going forward. And there are very many things that are lined up for us every other Saturday in the days to come. When I look forward, I see us talking about much more on the foundations of financial management. I see us getting deeper into conversations of wealth creation. I see us getting deeper into practical budgeting. I see us getting deeper into practical savings. I see us getting deeper into how to make an extra coin in the days to come. I see us get deeper into discussing enemies of financial progress. I see us getting deeper into the basics of investment, beginning to analyze different options that we have in the world of investment, and which one would work for you and which one would not work for you. So there's a lot that is in store for us every other Saturday. So just make sure that you are well aligned, you have adjusted your calendar accordingly, so that you don't get to be left behind when we are beginning, when we are rolling out all these conversations. All right. So I want to assume that you are set, good to go, fasten your seatbelts. Let's begin to delve deeper into this conversation of realities of money. So I realized that the easiest way for us to be able to buy into the reality that for change to happen, our minds have to be aligned. The easiest way for our minds to buy into that reality was for us then to come to terms with certain simple things that maybe over time we have overlooked, maybe we have ignored, maybe we have not even realized that they could actually be as powerful as they have been in shaping who we have become financially, right? And so I developed what I call the 7 realities of money. Those of you that have followed me for a while are aware that I usually regard these realities of money as common courses in my money management trainings. So every time I have opportunity to train a group of people in money management, I must mention the 7 realities of money, because from there we begin to see the things we've been overlooking over time. We begin to see the things that need to be adjusted over time. So some of these realities will be very simple. You'll be wondering why I actually had to include them, why I had to call you here, so that we may reflect on them. But again, as you will be seeing, they have played a bigger role in making us who we are today. All right. And so we get into the business of the day. And the first reality of money is that you can do better, right? The first reality of money, as I remind you that you can do better, is a reality that reminds you that we all need money. We all need money, okay? We all need money. We all need money. I don't know how best to bring this out, but it's as simple as that. We all need money. But I don't know who has joined us this particular moment and does not need money. If you are here and you don't need money, please let me know. Probably we can call off this session, okay? If you are here and you don't need money, you just have realized that money does not play any part in your life, please let us know in the comment section so that we know whether we can carry on with this conversation or we can just leave it here. Right, but the reality of life, the life that we live today, is that we all need money, and it's as basic as that, okay? And here's the thing. I have observed very many of us, the way we speak around money, the things we say are not agreeing with the things we believe about money. Many times I have met people who will be saying that they don't need money in their lives, that, money is not everything. And of course, money is not everything. We have tables and chairs and all these other things and trees in this life, all right, we all know that they are not money. They can only become money after we sell them, convert them into money. But before then, they are not money, right? But while you say you don't need money, I also catch you when you are alone, you also beginning to whisper some prayer to your God to bless you with some money. And many times I've argued that maybe we confuse God, because on one side of the mouth, we are saying we don't need money. Money is not everything. We can survive without it. But on the other end of the mouth, we are also saying that may God bless us with some because we really, really need it. So exactly where are you standing? Do you know there is nothing wrong in thank you, Austin. Austin says he does not need money at all. He doesn't, all right? That even his connectivity to this particular live session has happened miraculously, all right? And all right. So and thank you, Peter, for confirming that you're joining us from Umoja, and you're much welcome to this particular session. When I speak to, especially to men, and when I'm discussing the concept of provision, I usually like reminding us that a long time ago, provision used to mean that some people would leave their houses probably very early in the morning. They're carrying machetes, they're carrying clubs, they're carrying spears, they're carrying swords, and they would head into some forest, and they would be running up and down trying to find something that they would bring home to demonstrate to their families that they are trying to provide for them. So later in the day, they would come home loaded with leaves, loaded with roots, loaded with fruits, right? And if they have been lucky enough, probably they're also loaded with some squirrel that they were able to kill in the course of their experience in the forest, right? But today, that has been collapsed into the wallet, all right? And so for us to be able to think about surviving, think about being able to live life, we cannot push aside the conversation of the reality that we all need money. But wait, the biggest reason as to why I included this here, like I've mentioned, is the way we speak things that oppose what we are yearning for, right? And thank you very much, Vincent, for joining us from Kiambu. The way we oppose the things that we are yearning for. And those of us that have already joined, feel free to share the link with your friends in your other platforms so that we can continue to carry on this conversation together. But the other reason that I want to mention is those of us that speak ill of the people who seem to have gone ahead of us in getting some money, people who seem to have realized some financial success. Very many of us begin to speak ill of them. And I'm sure you've heard many people speak things like, he must have stolen this money. You can't have this kind of money. Excuse me. You can't have this kind of money if you're not a thief, if you're not corrupt, and things like those. But do you know it is possible that there are very many people who are actually wealthy and they have genuine wealth? I agree that there are very many others who have a lot of money that they cannot account for, all right? Because I have tried. Just this morning, we had our monthly money management conversation, and I was mentioning that I have had time to sit with people, both people who seem to have amassed great wealth, who have made serious strides in the world of wealth creation, to just learn from them, to just tap from their experience. And I've sat with those people who their stories will have a lot of gaps. They will tell you how they started and how they started selling tins or selling charcoal or selling whatever it is, or fruits. And the story will make sense until they made their 100,000 shillings. Then there will be a gap. And then suddenly you will wake up in 10 million shillings. And then the story will flow from 10 million shillings until you get to, until you get to a point where they made maybe their 20 million shillings. And then there'll be a huge gap. And then we will wake up again and we find themselves, we find those people in 100 millions or 1 billion. There are those kind of people, their story will not really inspire you because it has gaps. But there are very many other people, if you follow their story, you see it making sense. They will tell you how they started, how they burnt fingers, how the business collapsed, how the business struggled. They will tell you how they were able to utilize other people's money for them to be able to boost their business, or for them to invest from this point to this particular point. And you can actually be able to draw a smooth flowing curve to where they are today. But those people may not be very many, but they are there. And so that reminds us that not everyone that seems to be wealthy has stolen. It is possible that you can make your genuine money and keep growing at it. And we will also be talking about this in the days to come, right, as we reflect on the conversation of wealth creation. So what I'm reminding us is that we need to learn to celebrate those that have gone ahead of us, learn from them as we wait for our podium moment to come. We must learn to clap for those that are on the podium as we wait for our podium moment to come. That way we begin to align the universe around us. That way we begin to have positive energy. We begin to speak a language that is consistent with that which we yearn to have in the days to come. So that is the first reality of money, that we all need money. And there is nothing wrong in you saying that you need some money. All right? I doubt whether people will run away from you just because you said you need money. Okay. So reality number 2, and we're beginning from the basics as we climb. The second reality of money is that money is powerful. Money is powerful. And this is very basic. You see, you might be wondering why I would also call you here to remind you that money is powerful. But we have to remind ourselves some of these things. Money is powerful. Money is powerful. Money gives you options. Money helps you to choose between certain options. Right? Sometimes I've said that if you meet someone who seems confused and they are wondering whether to do something this way or this other way, just know that they have some coins in their pockets. You see, when you're broke, your life is usually very linear. It's usually very straight. You usually wake up knowing that this is how I go to work. That when it's break time and then people are having their tea, you always know that this is how I usually have my tea. When it's lunchtime, you usually know that this is how I usually behave when it's lunchtime. Your life is usually very straight, very linear. But when you have some coins with you, you start struggling with options. Should I take my lunch from this place or this other place? And should this particular lunch be this item or this other item? Right. So next time you find someone struggling with making some decisions that are affected by money, just know that this guy has something in his pocket. So money gives you options. Money gives you some power. And I've heard people say a lot of great things about the power of money. And I'm sure you've heard some of those things. I've heard people say things like, pesa uvunja mlima, this side of the world. I've heard people say that money can actually move mountains. And I'm sure you've heard things like those ones. I don't know what else you've heard. Maybe you can use the comment section to just tell me about the things you've heard about the power of money. Okay, just tell me the things you've heard people use to describe the power of money, because many things have been said about the power of money. All right. Let me just see what this other inbox is saying. Fantastic. Someone here is saying that pesa ni sabuni ya roho. Okay, and I'm sure you have heard things like those ones. Okay, I will not forget one day, and I've shared this story many times, when I was training in a certain manufacturing company, and I asked this same question about the things that people have said about the power of money. And I will not forget a guy who stood up. He was seated somewhere very far from where I was. And the guy took the microphone and the guy said, if I had some money, I'll walk from where I am, I'll come to where you are, I will beat you up, and then I will pay you and you will thank me. And I looked at what this guy was saying, and I thought he had some point, right? That's just how powerful money is. Money is so powerful. But that's not the point as to why I called you here to remind you that money is powerful. Here is the deal. If you acknowledge that money is powerful, then you would want to be very careful how you spend your money. so that you retain that power with you for as long as possible. Right? And I want to imagine you want to agree with me, because that is where the point is. If you're agreeing that money is powerful, because it is, right? Money dictates the people we put in power. You know, I have said many times that it's unfortunate that when we get into the ballot, for very many people in this side of the world, as we get into the ballot to elect our leaders, our minds are crowded with the thoughts of the number of choppers those guys came with as they came to campaign. And we are remembering the number of choppers so much that we end up putting an X or marking where against their names, just because of how affluent they seemed. Money dictates, I've said many times, even the music we listen to. There are very many people, probably you who is listening to me this particular moment, many people who have been talented with the ability to create music, to compose music that would change this world for better and for good. But because they did not have money to produce the music, they've been forced to sit down and listen to music that has been produced by those who had money to produce the music. That's just how powerful money is. So if you realize that money is that powerful, then you want to be very careful how you spend your own money, so that you retain this power with you for as long as possible. That's it. Reality number 3 is that money is finite. Money is finite. Okay. By finite, I mean that money reduces as you spend it. Money reduces as you spend it. You know, that sounds basic. Okay? Money reduces as you spend it. Now, here's the thing. I've taken time to observe how we behave around money, especially when we have just earned money. Very many of us spend money as if we have been promised a reward for spending. Very many of us spend money as if there is an incentive for spending. We spend money as if someone has promised to pay us for spending. And then 2-3 days down the line, we don't have the money. And then we are worried, because then we cannot move forward. Okay? So today I'm here to just remind you that money reduces as you spend. Now, if you put that into your mind, that money reduces as you spend it, then you want to be very careful how you spend it, so that then you realize that once you have approved an expenditure, the money is not going to come back. Once you have released it, the money is not going to come back. You see, if you had 1,000 Kenya shillings and you used 10 shillings out of it to buy yourself airtime, you know the remaining amount is not 1,000 shillings. Even if you wanted to call it 1,000, it has refused to be called 1,000. Right? Even if you remembered the mathematics you learned in school of rounding off to the nearest, that money will not be 1,000, even if you rounded off, right? And Peter, I agree with you that people will say, tumia pesa ikuzoee. But I've always asked these people, if you are spending and the money is not remaining with you, which money is going to zoea you? Okay, you know, you get used to something that you are with. So if you are using the money for money to get used to you, where is the money? The money will get used to the shopkeeper who is receiving your money. All right? You get used to something that you are close to. So if we are saying that we need to use money for money to get used to us, I think we are missing the point, because then once we have spent and we have lost the power and the money has gone, so where is the money that will get used to us? I keep wondering, all right? Someone is saying money is a password to parliament. Yes, money buys love. Wow. Money can make you have value to some people who never respected you before. Yes. When you have some money, then that is just how powerful you seem to be. All right. So it's important for us to remember that money reduces as you spend. Now, if you remembered that, then you will want to be careful what you approve to spend your money on, because you are aware that once you have spent it, it is not going to come back. That is the reality of money that I'm talking about. The fourth reality of money is that There is no small money. There is no small money. Again, on this particular one, we get to disagree with very many people, okay? And but again, of all the realities of money that I have developed, this one speaks volumes to very many people, okay? This one speaks a lot to so many of us because the average human mind, the average mind believes that their money is the smallest. The average human being believes that their money is the smallest. And that's why you will hear people say things like, hakaka mshahara ketu, you know, the way our salary is small, you know, the way money has become very small these days, you know how small my business is, you know the kind of money I make from this kind of business, and things like those. I'm sure you've heard that. Probably you've been one of those who speak such things. I don't know how to change this, but I want you to listen to me. Look, everywhere I have shared this reality of money, I have urged my audience to repeat it, to speak it out before I explain. And I would just want to give you a second to say it wherever you are. Just tell it to yourself that there is no small money. You may not be believing in that reality now, but just say it. Then I will show you why there is no small money. Okay, so I'm just giving you a couple of seconds to just say it wherever you are. Just open your mouth and say, there is no small money. All right, good. Because I've seen you say that there is no small money. And because we have been told and we believe that what you confess, you possess. And so that because you have confessed, now I can explain. Look, like I said, the average mind believes that their money is the smallest. But here is the danger of opening your mouth to pronounce that your money is small. You know, when you declare that your money is small, you put a mental cap. You put a cap on your mind, and your mind is not going to give you great ideas that can be utilized, that can be brought to fruition by a salary, by an income, by money that you have declared to be small. There is no way your mind will give you ideas, big ideas, because you have already told it that you don't have capacity for big ideas because your money is small. But just how big is big money? Many times when I have had chance to speak to guys at their workplace, I have asked them, today if their HR gave them the opportunity to choose how much they want to earn, how much will they choose? How much is big enough for them? And this has confused very many people. You know, it's very easy for people to speak in the corridors and speak of how small their income is. But when you corner them and ask them exactly how much, let me tell you what happened in one class. I asked people to tell me exactly how much they think they would be comfortable with as their income. And so there was this particular guy who was very confident that he knew how much enough money would look like. So the guy rose and the guy said that if he was able to be paid 100,000 Kenya shillings, then he thinks that his life would be okay. He thinks that that would be enough. 100,000 Kenya shillings looks something close to 1,000 US dollars, right? And the guy believed that his life would look better if he had that. So I wrote on the board 100,000. Before I would turn to look at the audience, the guy said, just change it, put it 200,000. I think 200,000 would look better. So I crossed the 100,000 and I wrote 200,000. And then as the guy was just going to sit, he rose again and said, I think 500,000 looks better. So I crossed 200,000 and wrote 500,000. And then as I was just about to progress with class, the guy rose again and said, or we just make it 1,000,000. And I looked at this guy and I saw what very many of us battle with when it comes to the question of exactly how much money is enough money. I don't know what your answer would be to this question, but I want you to think about it. Just how much money do you think would be enough money? But now let me convince you why I say that there is no small money. Do you know, while you cry and complain about your money being small, there is someone in your environment who is doing great things with half of what you have, probably even less. I don't know if you've ever visited a colleague in his or her home and you left that place talking to yourself, speaking to yourself, and just telling yourself, no, it can't be. Is this coming from the same salary we earn? Right? And it is because probably these people have organized themselves in a particular way. Probably they've discovered some secret that you haven't. And maybe you've started even thinking that maybe they're involved in dubious deals at the workplace. Maybe you've started thinking that maybe they have sponsors. All right, if they're ladies, probably you've started saying that maybe they're even sleeping around with the bosses and things like those. But have you ever thought that you could be wrong? That probably they just know how to organize themselves. And there has never been a better way to explain this than through stories, right? I wish we had a lot of time. I would have shared very many stories. But let me share with you a story that I uploaded on YouTube the other day, and a story that I've used to drive home this point. The story of this friend of mine who was able to build a house when he was earning 2,000 shillings. Just in case you haven't captured this story, at your free time, you might want to watch this story and just capture the details of this particular story. But this is a story that I have shared in very many places, and I've seen just how it has changed the way people think around money. And so this is a guy I met in one of the investment groups, popularly known as chamas this side of the world. So I'm invited in this group to help them crack something they were struggling with. They were doing some table banking, and they had started struggling. Some members were not able to repay their debts, and they just wanted me to help them figure out how they were going to move forward as a group. And so while I was seated, I overheard some person say that he was going to travel the following day to his village to construct a house. So once I was done with my presentation, when I was just about to leave, as it happens always, a couple of people will follow me and we'll be talking, exchanging contacts and saying a few things here and there. So this guy follows me and tells me, Mwalimu, if you hear of a good job, please let me know. And I look at this guy and I remember, this is the same guy who said he was traveling home to construct a house. So I asked him, I just heard you say you are going home to construct a house. The guy says yes. But then the guy goes ahead and tells me that where he works, he earns 2,000 shillings. 2,000 shillings looks like $20 US, right? And I look at this guy and I ask him, 2,000 shillings per month? Yes, 2,000 shillings per month, right? And you've been able to pull a house? Yes. The reason I was asking him this question is because the moment he mentioned the amount, I quickly remembered the sessions I have had with people nearing retirement, because I've had the chance to train people who are nearing retirement, to have conversations with them, and especially preparing them for financial realities post-retirement. And I've been in many sessions where people shed tears. You know, sometimes it's very disturbing for someone who is fit enough to be your father shedding tears before you. And many of them have shed tears and said that they are worried, they are retiring in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, but they don't even have a grass-thatched house to call their own. These are statements I've heard very many times, and I'm sure you know of similar situations, similar stories. And so immediately the guy mentioned, I quickly remembered similar situations that had happened in recent conversations at that time. And so I wanted to sit down and learn from this guy. How come that someone can be able to pull a house when they're earning 2,000? Yet on the other end, there is someone who's been earning very many multiples of 2,000 shillings, but they have reached retirement, and that's when they are realizing they don't have a place to call their own. And so I sat with this guy and I tapped from his story. For the avoidance of doubt, this is not a fictitious story. This is a house that is existing, a house that I have witnessed, seen by my own 2 eyes, a house that I've touched, a house that I have entered in. Because the story was so inspiring, you know, that I needed to really follow through and just see how it made sense. Okay, and this is how it happened, just in a nutshell. The guy would earn his 2,000 bob, he would split it into two, 1,000, 1,000. So 1,000 is for survival. And just so that you don't confuse, this is not a story of the 80s where our parents would tell us they used to earn 367 shillings and we would feel pity for them when indeed 367 was a lot of money back then. This is not one of those. This is not a story of back then. This is not even a story of the 90s. This is a story of the 2000s. So it means pretty the same it does today. Right? Make no mistake again, this guy was not single. This guy was married. He had a wife and 2 little children in the village. So 1,000 would be for survival for both of them. Now, in the village where the house is, they don't have a big piece of land. They have a small piece of land for subsistence farming that surrounds the house. When I visited, I found them with one cow, one traditional cow, that one that gives them a cup of milk in the morning and in the evening, so they don't have to buy milk. They plant their own vegetables, and therefore they don't have to buy vegetables. They have organized themselves, right? Once in a while, they'll plant maize, and when they harvest, if they are lucky enough, they would harvest just a handful of tins that would carry them for some time. Okay, so so there are moments when the guy would send home 500 bob, and then he would remain with 500. There are times when he would send 700, then he would remain with 300. But this is what I want you to get. When I asked him to describe for me how he was able to achieve what he achieved, this is how he started the story. He told me that when he got this job, the first thing he told himself is that if he was going to achieve anything in life at that time, it was going to come from this income. You know, that's a very powerful statement. It's an enabling statement. Many of us would simply have said, this money is small, and we would have sat and waited for the day we get a lot of money. But this guy gave an empowering statement. When I sat with the wife told me that when this guy got this job, at that particular time, their biggest problem was a house. They used to be housed in their brother's house, which was also a grass-thatched house. And so, of course, the inconvenience when the brother comes back home and things like those. So they vowed that when they will get some money, they will make sure that they fix a house. So when the guy got this job, the wife was also aligned to the fact that they needed to do everything within their powers to secure a house. So the guy would get his salary, 1,000, split it, send home whatever amount, remain with whatever amount. He told me he would then go and buy essentials, right? If you've sat in my money management classes, especially when COVID came, there are sessions I used to teach about managing life on strained income, right? And I've had this conversation in very many corporate organizations. And there's a place where I tell you that depending on how tight your situation looks, you might be forced to switch to what I call a bare bones budget. A bare bones budget is where you only buy essentials for you to be able to survive, because you need to be alive to see the other side of life. And that is what the guy did. So he would only go and buy the essentials, the things he needed. That would be a packet of unga, remain with a few coins to buy vegetables here and there and things like those. And the same was what his wife told me. When the money would be sent to her, she would also just go and buy the essentials, right? And then I don't know why both of them mentioned sugar. They said that during that particular phase of their life, sugar was not very important. So they would only buy sugar when the money has just come, when it's just around payday. Right? When the sugar gets finished, it's not a bother for them. But the message I'm sending here is this: you are the only one who understands your situation. You are the only one who knows the struggles you're going through. The rest of us don't. Right? So don't do things for us. Don't do things to please us, to show us, to make statements to us. We don't feel you. We don't understand. All right? So on your own journey, and make rules based on your own journey. That is what we get from this particular statement. So let me come to the other 1,000. The other 1,000 is what they agreed that they needed to use to construct the house. So initially, the guy would be sending home the 1,000 and giving instructions and telling the wife to buy maybe one iron sheet and maybe a kg of nails and things like those. But before long, the guy discovered that was not working, because every time he would tell them to buy 2 things, they would buy one and give a story for the other item. The guy realized that if we continue this way, we are not going to realize a house. And so that's how the guy joined the chama. That's how the guy joined the group. So the group was going to be a savings vehicle for him, and it was also going to be an investment vehicle because they were doing table banking, and so they would lend money to each other and sometimes to even outsiders. And then at the end of the year, they would break the kitty, share the entire money. So that means you'd get back your principal plus some interest based on how the trading has been throughout the year. And so the guy would go home now, instead of going home with 12,000, the guy would now go home with 16,000 or 18,000. And that is something, right? 16 or 18 is not the same as 12. And the guy then joined that group with a purpose clear in his mind that he wanted to use it to achieve a house. Very many people join those groups, those chamas, without a clear vision, a clear reason as to why they are getting in there. I know chamas can be very good tools to get you to greater heights, but I also know for sure, and take it from me very seriously, because I've sat down with people who've been messed by chamas big time. So you must know why you want to join a chama before you join one. Ladies, I hope I'm whispering. I hope no one has heard. Okay? Because I know that there are many of you that are messed up by chamas, but I also know that there are very many of you that have been elevated by chamas. So the guy became very deliberate. He would be the first one to contribute, to send his money. They were contributing 1,000 bob, so he would be the first one. I also found chance to speak to the treasurer of that particular group, and he confirmed that the guy would be the first one to send money. So much so that the other members of the group started believing that this guy was earning more than them. But when I checked the records, many of them were earning very many multiples of 2,000 shillings. Let me shock you. In that same group, there were very many of them that were in arrears of their monthly contributions, yet they earned multiples of 2,000 shillings. But that's not even interesting. Most interesting is this, that in that same group, because they believe that this guy must be earning more than us for him to be able to be sending money regularly, some of them started approaching him and telling him, you know, I have this son or daughter of mine who just cleared high school. You know, if you hear of an opportunity where you work, please consider him or her. And I was just laughing when the guy was narrating this story. That just reminds us that it is possible that you can organize and arrange yourself financially, and the rest of us will be thinking that you earn the most. The rest of us will be thinking that you must be having a lot of money under the sun, when the reality is the only secret you have discovered is that you have empowered your money. You have realized that there is no small money. Brothers and sisters, I don't want to ask you how much you earn. I don't want to ask you if you have a house. All right? But I just want to ask you. But I also don't want to ask you how many multiples of 2,000 shillings you've been earning. But I just want to ask you, how many dreams have you shelved because you thought your money was small? How many ideas have you sat on because you thought your money was small? How many projects have you put down? How many projects have you shelved because you're waiting for the day you get a lot of money? But do you also realize that time is moving? Do you also realize that before you know it, retirement will be looking at you if you are employed? But again, have you defined the miracle you're waiting for? Where is it going to happen from? Many times we have a lot of potential in our hands. The money we are holding, this one that we are calling small, has power to do great things only if we are patient enough, only if we are determined to start small, to start from where we are, to have a plan for what we want to achieve. Look, I don't know how else to say this, but I want to believe you have heard the message. The message here is simple, that there is no small money. All right, reality number 5 is that money is innocent. Money is innocent. Money is innocent. Right? Money is innocent. You know, very many of us blame our inadequacies on money. Okay? Very many of us have said things to demonstrate that we are where we are probably because money has spoiled us. Okay, we are where we are because we feel that it is because of money. You've heard people say that he changed when he got money. She changed when she got money. Right? Maybe you have also said that. Maybe that has been said about you. But let me put it to us this moment that money changes no one. Money is not a changing agent. Money is a revealing agent. Money helps the world to know you better. Money helps us to know people's characters. Money does not change you. Money helps us to know you better. You see, there are people who seem to be very well collected, very well nurtured, very polite, very down to earth, very humble. Again, I caution you, do not confuse poverty for humility. Right? There are very many people who seem very humble, very well collected, very down to earth. But if we are in a room and someone entered holding a bundle of money, of notes, and that person behaves in a manner to suggest that they want to distribute money, we will be so shocked that some of the people who have always appeared to be very well collected will be the ones jumping on top of desks, on top of people's heads, because they want to arrive, they want to be the ones to grab the money first. And the rest of us will be wondering, I thought this guy was well cultured. I thought this guy has always been humble. I thought this guy has always been well collected, well, nurtured and down to earth. It is not money that has changed this guy. This guy has always been this way. It's just that his circumstances had suppressed him. Right? I don't know if you have ever witnessed these situations where someone, because of money, they begin to behave in a very weird manner. Okay? It's not money changing them. Money is helping us to know them for who they are. But what I'm reminding you here is, because I want you to make money and make it in plenty in future, is that when money comes, please do not use it to excuse your bad behavior. Do not allow it, to tamper with your character. Stay put. It is possible to have money and have it in plenty and retain your good character. Don't be like this guy who once told me, I've not always been this way. Since I started getting money, money changed me. And money did not change you. You've been this way. You gave permission to money to tamper with your character. Money revealed your character. Money is innocent. Right. The sixth reality of money is that money is attracted, not chased after. Money is attracted, not chased after. I don't know if I need to repeat this. Money is attracted, right? I hope they can be able to have that scrolling, that on our screens. Money is attracted, not chased after. The average human being wakes up in the morning chasing after money. The average human being will even verbalize, will tell you that I'm chasing after the papers. I'm sure you've heard people say this, you've seen people say this, maybe you've been one of them. But I don't know if you've discovered what I did, that when you start chasing after money, money refuses to stop for you to catch it. I don't know how yours has behaved, but mine refused to stop for me to catch it. All right? And that's just the nature of money. Money does not lower its standards, does not reduce its speed for you to catch it. So the chase after money is definitely going to be a very tiring chase. At the end of the day, you will be very tired, very beaten, and you look back and you realize the money has not stopped for you to catch it. Some time back, I wrote a poem about the chase between money and human beings. And in that poem, I was saying that long time ago, money and human beings used to wear gowns. The long ones. When you wear a gown, you will not be able to run very fast. But the chase was still there, and human beings were just about to catch money. When money looked at them and realized that money needed to do something different, and money took off the gown and acquired a pair of trousers, and now ran faster than human beings that were still wearing gowns. And so human beings quickly adjusted. They also threw away the gown and also acquired a pair of trousers and ran even faster. They were just about to catch money when money looked at them and said, I have to do something different. And money acquired shots. You know those athletics shots. And then money now ran very fast. Human beings, being who we are, we also copied and followed suit and also began to run faster. Then money looked at us and money said, you know what, we've gotten used to each other. I must do something that you will not be able to hack. And money acquired wings. These days, when you chase after money, when you're just about to get hold of it, it flies and goes. I don't know what your experience has been, but that is just how money behaves, all right? So where is the secret? The secret is in attracting money. And the question we want to ask is, how do you begin to attract money? You begin to attract money by adding value to society. Of course, the next question is, how do I add value to society? Which is a very good question. Okay, it's a question the immediate question I hear once I mention that the only way for you to attract money is for you to add value to society. But let me remind you that you can add value to society whether you are employed or in business, okay? And the people in employment are the ones who ask me very many times because they can't seem to see how they can add value in an employment setting. Because if your job description says that when you get into the office, you carry this box from here to here, you carry from here to here, when it's 5 p.m. you go home, where do you add value in carrying boxes and putting them here? Right? I hope I will now help you to see how you begin to add value. And I like teaching using stories because they help take home the lessons faster. You know, I shared this in a manufacturing company somewhere. And this is also a story I love sharing a lot. And I made this statement, which will disturb some of you. And I said, I stood up machine operators, and there were very many. It was a big hall. And I was teaching them something I call managing my money. And I was sharing with them these same realities of money. And I told them, do you know that if this company faces financial challenges and they choose to downsize, to send home some of you, do you know it will be very easy for some of you to be sent home, right? Something like good riddance. But do you know for some of you to be sent home, the management will have to go back to the drawing board. They have to go back to the boardroom and ask themselves, how are we going to survive in the absence of so and so? Right? And I told them, if that time comes, you will realize that some of you have been adding more value to this company. Yet you are all machine operators. Let me put this into context. If you have ever been in a manufacturing space, if you've ever visited a manufacturing space where you will have those huge machines and conveyor belts and those things, you will know that those machines are largely operated using some pads. At least the old-fashioned machines, they have these pads that have arrows pointing to the left, the right, upward, downwards. They have these buttons that are red saying stop. They have a button that is green saying start or pause and things like those. Do you know that if you gave that pad to a toddler, a 2-year-old, and told them to press the arrow that is facing to the right, the machine will behave the same way it behaves if you tell a professor to press the same button. The machine doesn't care who is pressing. The machine responds to commands. Do you also know that the maximum capacity of the maximum output in a manufacturing space is largely dependent on the capacity of the machine, more than the hands that are operating the machine? That even if we gave the machine in the hands of a toddler, in the hands of someone on the streets, in the hands of the most educated person, as long as they operate the machine the same way, if a machine has a capacity of 1,000 items at the end of the day, we can only expect a maximum of 1,000 items. So how do you add value in such an environment that is very well determined? So when I was giving them this story, and I mentioned to them that, do you realize that when that time comes, some of you will force management to go into the drawing board and begin to figure out how they will survive in the absence of so and so. They all shouted in unison and said, Julius. Of course, I was shocked. Who is this Julius that even his colleagues know that if they are to be downsized, he will be the last person to be sent home? So I wanted to understand the story of Julius, and I found a moment to interview the colleagues of Julius, to interview Julius, and to interview the bosses of Julius. And this is what was said about Julius. Julius was this kind of employee that every other employee fought to be in the same shift with. So when they are organizing shifts, everyone would be fighting to be in the same shift with Julius. So I wanted to understand why. And they told me that Julius is this kind of employee who loves his job. Julius will operate that pad and he is singing, he is whistling, he is dancing, he is smiling. He is so jovial about what he is doing. And you know, that is being positive. And you know, positivity attracts. No one wants to be near negative energy, all right? If we are gathered together here and we are having a conversation, if someone came here and started speaking negative things, we will start leaving one after the other. So Julius would exude a lot of positivity, and that would begin to attract his colleagues to him. That would begin to attract even senior management to him. They told me that Julius was this kind of person that you would go to when you are troubled, when you have your personal issues, and Julius would be readily waiting to listen to you. But they told me also that while they are working, if your machine had a jam and Julius can leave his without tampering with production, he would be the first person to get to where you are and help you sort out the jam that you are facing. Do you know what the rest of us would be doing in that case? The rest of us would be so happy that suddenly we have a moment for us to shine. Because your machine has refused to work, at least management will see that you did not perform. The rest of us will be very happy that we have a moment to outshine you. But that's not adding value. So the little things that Julius was doing, aside from what his JD needed him to do, became the value that he was adding to his workplace. It got to a point that even his seniors would be comfortable speaking to him about their personal issues at home. The next time I visited that company, Julius had been promoted to become the head of the production unit. Of course, the promotion comes with additional money. Don't you think he attracted that money? I leave it to you to judge. So for you to add value to where you work, you must meet your objectives. You must meet your targets and exceed them. You must be willing to go an extra mile, to do some other things apart from what your JD says. Don't be this rigid person who will be telling you, my JD does not say this. Someone is requesting you to just help them. It is 5:02, time to go home. A colleague is just telling you to help them carry a box and put it in the store before you go home. And you tell them it's 5 o'clock. My JD says I need to go home at 5. There are people who are that rigid. But do you know the universe is watching? And favor seems to go the direction of those who are willing to go an extra mile. Think about it. Those of you that are in business, let me say something to you. You know, we are now in a place where business is no longer just about focusing on the profit. Those of you that have tried starting businesses because you needed profit, you've been frustrated at some point. Because business obeys the law of process. Sometimes I tell business people that if you started a business and everything clicks in place and everything begins to run very right, you need to be worried more than the guy who started and they've been making mistakes and they've been falling many, many times and they're climbing up. You need to be more worried than them because you don't know the day the system will normalize, because the system has to normalize. Business systems usually get to a day when they normalize. All right, and normalization means that they have to take you through the process, and the process of business will walk you through trials and tribulations here and there to just test the fact that you really had a resolve to be in this particular business. All right. So businesses that have been started with people focusing on profit, many times they get disappointed when the process sets in. When profits refuse to come as fast as you wanted or in magnitudes that you expected, many people have given up on their ideas because they did not become instant millionaires the way they thought. Right? And I've heard the world tell you that if you want to be a billionaire, millionaire, then you can't do it while you're in employment. And I've seen some people quit employment to join business and they don't even know what business they're getting into. Businesses that go far are those that have been established to add value to society. So as you get into business, ask yourself, what value are you going to add? What different thing are you going to do? What gap are you going to fill? What would make a client, I like asking, skip shop 1, shop 2, shop 3, and enter your shop 4 that is selling the same items like them? What? You must be doing something different from them. Right? Think about it. Value. What value are you adding? What value are you adding? How are you treating your customers? How are you speaking to them? What attitude do you show them? And ladies are very good at picking attitudes. I will walk with a lady in a shop and we will buy the same thing we are buying and get out, and the lady will be telling me that shop attendant had a lot of attitude. You guys have something I call attitude meter. So if you walked into a shop and you're served with attitude, are you likely to go back there? I highly doubt. Money is attracted, not chased after. Right. The last reality of money is that money is your right. Money is your right. Right? I wish you could say from wherever you are that, hey, money is my right. Money is your right. Money is your right. You see, I have met very many people who say that money belongs to a certain group of people. Right? Pesa ina wenyewe. I'm sure you've heard that. You see, the moment you open your mouth to pronounce that money belongs to a certain group of people, you remove yourself from the picture of financial success, because you've declared that you don't belong to financial success, that money belongs to a certain category of people, and that is dangerous. Each one of us has the right to make money and make it in abundance. You only need to learn how it is done, believe in the process, and begin doing. You have the right to make it. Please do not, if you arrest your mouth wanting to say that money belongs to a certain group of people, please shut it up. You have the right to make money and make it abundantly. Those of us that are believers, I love the way God's promises come to us, because God's promises do not have a list of names, so that as you go to read through the promises, you can see a list of names and you can run through and see, my name is not here, so this promise does not speak to me. They're given to us openly. Ours is to believe in them, stand on them, claim them, and run with them. You have a right to have money and have it in abundance. Ladies and gentlemen, our 1 hour is gone. I wish we would stay longer. But I want to hope that I've spoken something into your life. I want to hope that I've said something that would change the way you've been thinking and viewing money. I want to believe that I've added some value into your money system. I want to invite you to stick with us every Saturday from 3 p.m. East African time. Let us have this Money Live conversation. There will be different topics to be talked about. We will delve deeper into conversations, some that are very sensitive, very uncomfortable for very many people, just so that we can inspire ourselves to begin to do better. Because the only thing that I believe in, like you must have noticed, is that you can do better. You can do better. I don't have any other thing to promise you. I can only promise you that you can do better. I want to wish you all the best. If you are new here, you haven't subscribed, please take a moment to subscribe. Please share this content with your friends in your other circles, so that they can also be able to tap into this conversation, so that they can also be able to be aligned, so that we can be able to move together. Feel free to give your comments so that we can be able to flow together. Let me also get to know how this session has been for you, and that will go a long way in helping me be able to fashion the content that would particularly speak to you. I can see what you have shared in the comments. And I want to thank all of you that have taken time to say something in the comments. And I can hear what Emily is saying, that now she knows why jealous people fight her at her place of work, because she has a solution for the weak people by showing them to do better. Thank you so much, all of us that have taken time to be with me live. Thank you so much, even those that will be joining us much later. This video will remain here as it is, so that even those that will be joining in later can also be able to grasp and also be able to benefit from that which we have discussed here. Until we meet again next week, same time, same place, it is bye-bye from me. Take care. You can do better. God bless you.